It began as the party of Lincoln. Then it became the party of small government and big business. Now, less than a week after Donald Trump left the White House, not even Republicans are sure what the Republican Party stands for.
When I was a kid, and I love the ideas of the Republican Party, I feel like we've lost a lot of that now. And that's why I'm going to fight like hell to bring it back to the party that I believe in. I do think we are in a battle, and it may be a battle that really needs to happen for our party to say, what is it we stand for? Not when it comes to policy, but as much as anything, are we aspirational or are we a party that feeds on fear and division?
Makes sense, but Kings are definitely a minority, one of only really 10 in the House of all the Republicans, even after the riots, who felt as strongly as impeachment. So the translation is the Republican Party is going through an identity crisis. Will it remain the party of Trump, or will it move on and leave its iron crush behind? Well, the top Republican in the House seems ready to move past Trump.
The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters. He should have immediately denounced the mob when he saw what was unfolding.
So McCarthy blaming Trump for the riot the day that the House voted to impeach Trump again. But this weekend, another top House Republican took a contrary position.
Everybody across this country has some responsibility. Think about 4 years ago after the President Trump was sworn in. What happened the very next day? The title was Resist, with people walking in the street. I think from a whole nation, we should take this moment in time to find how we can correct ourselves.
See what I did there? First, McCarthy, he blamed Trump for the riots. Now he blames everybody, whatever that means. McCarthy wouldn't even say if his reversal had anything to do with the push by House Republicans to boot Liz Cheney out of congressional leadership ranks. Cheney, who is a McCarthy lieutenant, she voted to impeach Trump and encouraged other Republicans to do so. Again, only 10 did. We've also seen threats that Senate Republicans may seek to oust Mitch McConnell if McConnell votes to convict and bar Trump from holding future office. This weekend, the Republican Party of Arizona voted to censure current Governor Doug Ducey, former Senator Jeff Flake, and Cindy McCain, yes, that McCain, simply because they opposed Trump's efforts to overturn the election results. They also re-elected a Trump ally as its state party chairwoman. And Trump himself, he's tried to weaponize that vote, signaling an interest in maybe forming his own MAGA party or Patriot Party, which would be a threat to keep other Republicans in line. But it may or may not work, especially as more and more Republicans begin to publicly question the party's future direction and Trump's role in it. Former Congressman Will Hurd, and I guess the key word is former, well, he put it this way. If the party wants a future, the elected officials, pundits, and activists who claim to be its members must stop peddling conspiracy theories and drive out those who continue to do so. Republicans must be honest and do the right thing based on conservative values, not the things that lead to more clicks, comments, or shares on social media. Well, I can't think of a better person to talk about this with. For more on the future of the GOP, let's bring in former longtime Republican congressman and good friend to the program, Chris Shays. So I went on some whole rant, Chris, at the top of the show, where I don't believe it's just the right thing to do or the right thing in the national interest, but I think it's in the self-interest of Republicans to say this is the opportunity where, Lord knows with merit, we can excise Trump from our ranks, but it seems by the day it looks less and less likely that come February 8th, when the Senate finally votes, they're not going to have 17 Republicans who agree.
That's kind of the legacy right now of the Republican Party. If Republicans aren't willing to repudiate in strong terms what happened, and remember that Donald Trump called them on the 6th of January to come and protest and fight like hell to change the results, and they did exactly what he was telling them to do. So this can't be the party of Donald Trump. If it's the party of Donald Trump, it will be a small party. It will be a party just of whites. It will be a party just of angry people. No, the Republican Party's got a lot to sort out. Let me just add something else. If I put blame on anyone, I'd put blame on the talk show supreme ally of Trump's, and that's Hannity, who constantly was telling Donald Trump what to do and how to do it. And it was vicious and wrong.
Chris, I hate it when people in different walks of life tell athletes or perform when it's time to retire. People should decide when they want to leave. But at a certain point, there has to be a personal calculation to say, I can't do this anymore. If it means I have to contort myself like McCarthy seemingly is having to do here, to defend the most indefensible actions, deadly actions against seditious actions, I'm just surprised, and I'm not a naive babe in the woods, but I'm surprised more Republicans didn't say no more. This is a line he didn't tiptoe, he leapfrogged over the line. I can't go there. I'm surprised by how many of these are formers, not current Republicans like Kinzinger, who have the guts to do like Cheney did to say no more.
Yeah, what Congresswoman Cheney did was right on target. It was forceful, and it was particularly brave in the sense that she comes from Wyoming. So she was taking on Trump, where he's incredibly popular. So I just have a lot more respect for that Congresswoman and that leader, and in spite of the fact she's very conservative, and I happen to be a moderate Republican. No, this party is in deep trouble. But it has been for a long time. Now, we have a lot of mayors and we have a number of governors, but we're not going to be a national party in the way that we need to be to win national elections.
But I look around and I see the Larry Hogans of the world, right? And these guys are even more popular than they were more than a year ago. Is it almost that they have to see it for themselves, other Republicans, to say, wait a minute, I'm not a Democrat, but I'm not a Trump guy. I can still run, and yeah, maybe I'm going to get a primary, but I think I can survive here, especially if the party gets behind me. To me, there's a calculation, and it's not a complicated one, but if the party with numbers and reinforcements gets behind the Cheneys of the rest of the world, then you guys have a chance to have a coalition where you can win national races again. It just seems, I've been through this dance. Don't you remember, was it Reince Priebus who did the post-mortem, after I think the 12 election, where he said, okay, this isn't going to work. We got to redo our math here. We can't just be old, angry white guys. Yeah. It seems like rinse and repeat.
Well, this is the interesting thing. Trump lost, and Republicans picked up a few seats in Congress. But they were determined by the local community in that area. A Republican would have a very difficult time, in my judgment, winning a national election. I mean, Governor Hogan is a superb governor, and he's just being logical and thoughtful and not partisan. But that won't win him elections in the Midwest and the far West.
One of your good friends, and you even worked for him, John Kasich, also fits into that area of a moderate Republican, Ohio, and the rest. Is there a calculation, Chris, that says this better pathway for a guy like him to get another seat at the table now? Has the fever broken among Republicans, or is the betting money, no, this is still going to be Trump's party in 2 years and in 4 years?
Well, I started to interrupt you. I forgot we're on this system that doesn't allow me to interrupt. But you made me laugh when you said John is a moderate Republican. No, John is a conservative Republican, but a thoughtful, conservative, Midwestern Republican who would probably not get reelected even in Ohio. He would not get the Republican nomination. He possibly could get elected when moderate Republicans and Democrats and unaffiliated voters would go to the polls. But no, this is... The challenge for Republicans is Donald Trump has the ability to kill. He doesn't have the ability to elect. He has the ability to kill you in a Republican primary and hurt you with Republicans, but he doesn't have the ability to get you elected. And that's the quandary Republicans have. They know he can't get you elected. He could help you get the Republican nomination. And in a conservative state, yes, he could. Once you had the nomination, then you win. But his danger is he can kill you, politically, but he can't elect you politically.
And Chris, I didn't get to ask you since, when you saw the events unfolding like we all did on the 6th, I'm curious, were you more outraged? Were you more heartbroken? And then when you see now the Mo Brookses of the world or the Gosarts and others where there's legitimate questions, if more than even fomenting, if they help give comfort to some of these rioters, even getting, basically casing the Capitol beforehand. I mean, what ran through your mind when you saw those images playing out on the 6th?
I had a lot of emotions. I know this building, they're in hollow ground. I always felt that way when I showed people the Capitol. I felt I was showing them something so special, and it was just being brutalized. That offended me. And then when I saw the clippings later, how much more violent it was than we originally thought. Oh, total outrage. Donald Trump is responsible for this, and you've got to hold him accountable. You have to hold him accountable.
We're going to see how it plays out the next stage. But, Chris, I want to get your take on this. Thank you as always, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Love being with you, Richard.
You too. All right, when we come back, everybody, the politics of impeachment. Will they? Won't they? Will they get to the 17 Republican votes that they will need to convict Donald Trump? After the break, we're going to discuss how this could all play out.